Right, let's get started. Let's welcome again to my panel political commentator Matthew Larser and also broadcaster and columnist Lizzie Cundy. Obviously horrific news about what's been going on. Lizzie, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, it was just, I couldn't believe when I woke up to the news what happened last week. Absolutely disgusting, barbaric. Just the worst you could ever imagine I would ever see in my lifetime. It is that, I just haven't got words for it. It's too awful. And sadly, I have a friend who still has her daughter missing that was at that festival, which was for peace. And, for what? This wasn't just an attack on Israeli. This was an absolute international attack, because we have our own that have been killed here in Great Britain, America, Thailand, all over, international. And it is absolute disgusting that anyone can even side with Hamas, who are terrorists, and that's what they should be called. And the BBC, I'm absolutely ashamed that they won't. They've called them freedom fighters, militants. They are terrorists, and that's what they are.
I noticed Nick Robinson in that message did try to bag ITV and Sky in the same comment, as though they're of similar ilk. But I'm pretty sure on Sky and even on ITV they would have called them terrorists.
I think they have used the word terrorist. So I don't know why he was doing that.
He was trying to make it look like it's not just us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked for the BBC as you did, Nana, and I think this puts BBC people in a very difficult position. There were various reasons sensible reasons for being careful about using the word terrorist, using it sparingly, but clearly, as Lizzie says, the events that we saw last weekend and the events since as well, because we've seen further murders, clearly are acts of terrorism. You use the dictionary definition and they are literally that.
There's no way
so
around.
The BBC just got itself in a silly mess, and it's just such a shame, because this has now become the issue when we should be, focusing on other things. But it means so much to people for what it is so horrific to be called terrorism. So it's just really, really sad that the BBC isn't being more fleet of foot and being sensible in using the word terrorism when terrorism is happening.
And there aren't enough, for me, celebrities that do normally pipe up, the Gary Linekers and Emma Thompson, who haven't actually mentioned this. And they're always quick to talk about, immigration, net zero.
The language of Nazi Germany was what he was saying, or the Germany in the 30s, which was a nonsense comparison, because now we're seeing what happened in the 30s almost play out in front of us. So if he thinks he can equate any of that...
So where are their voices now? And for me, the Mayor of London, I think it's absolutely appalling that he's not come out more in favour for the Israelis. I mean, look, we've got 4 Jewish schools that have had to close. Who'd have thought that? My friend's son couldn't wear his blazer, who goes to a Jewish school, and they've got police outside the synagogues today, which is Sabbath day. It's just appalling. Where is the Mayor of London? Why isn't he reassuring that, to the Jewish community of their safety and just saying he's standing with them?
He may be stepping back to sort of not try and inflame anything, because obviously we have the protests in the streets now. But I do 100% agree that if you are promoting, if you're protesting in favour of Hamas, then that cannot be acceptable. You are supporting a terrorist organisation. But of course, there is the right to protest in this country.
Absolutely. Thankfully, from what I've seen, today's protest in London and others around the country have been peaceful, but it made me feel uncomfortable just literally on my way here, seeing people draped in Palestinian flags, which made me feel uncomfortable, because of course it's legitimate to protest, but one of the things that I hope people should be protesting about is about Hamas, because Hamas is holding the Palestinian people hostage.
You would think that, wouldn't you? But perhaps that is an element of the protest. We don't know, but we also
need to see more placards condemning Hamas.
But we also know that within Palestine, so within Gaza and the West Bank and those places, that as it is a terrorist organisation, they haven't had elections for many years, that a lot of the people there would be frightened to actually speak out. So,
absolutely.
So we have to acknowledge that. But
people in London have the safety of being able to criticise.
Didn't you feel uncomfortable yourself seeing the Labour conference and seeing them protesting outside, not within 24 hours?
Yeah, absolutely. But they were outside, Lizzie, not inside.
Well, they were outside, and Jeremy Corbyn's still not strong enough.
And that's why I'm very glad Jeremy Corbyn's not in the Labour Party.